So how do you get your business to be recommended or cited in these AI search engines? Let's use Perplexity as an example, right? I just gave it a prompt saying, give me the number of the cheapest plumber in Dallas, Texas. And it gave me this phone number, right? It gave me a few sources and recommended that I also check the maps, okay? Now, how do I make it so my business number shows up here for this prompt, right? And all possible variations of this prompt, because this prompt is simple, right? Give me, is what they want, the phone number of the cheapest plumber in Dallas. So it is plumber, the service, the location, so location, service, modifier, could be cheapest, most expensive, most luxurious, doesn't matter, right? The modifier and what I want. I want the phone number, right? So with these four things, you can do an infinite number of prompts, right? For example, my house burned, or my toilet is clogged. I need the phone number of the cheapest plumber. Right now, I live in Dallas, Texas. So that's the exact same intent, right? But the prompt is different. So how do you make it so that how do you make it that these AI search engines recommend your business for a multitude of search prompts that have the same intent? Well, I'll show you how. So again, note that there's a bunch of AI search engines, right? All these are LLM-based, right? Large language model, okay? And then the front end, right, is Perplexity, is ChatGPT, is Grok, the one from Twitter, right? So all these LLMs taking data from all across the web. Now, do note that different products, right, give certain weights to their data in different amounts. For example, ChatGPT is, of course, owned by Microsoft. So it's only natural that they'll factor in data from Bing with more relevancy, okay? Twitter is owned by, Grok is owned by Twitter. So it's so natural that when you search for stuff, for example, what's the best AI writer for SEO? It's only natural that they'll give you, right, a lot of weight on social posts posted on X, okay? Again, ChatGPT gives a lot of weight to the rankings, and there's a high correlation between the rankings on Bing and what they show you here on GPT. Again, only natural. It's not that they're biased towards information, because all of them gather the information from all the same places, right? They have access to the whole internet. It's just that they give different weights to the information from different sources. That's why the recommendations or the citations are different. Hopefully this makes sense, okay? Now, you'll notice here that on Perplexity, okay, let me just close out of this, they have this little map right here. This is not a Google Maps, okay? This is done by a company called Mapbox, a big company, right? But they do not get their data from Google Maps. And this is still, I can go here and find a local business, I can call it up, okay? Now, note that even though ChatGPT doesn't have this, or Google, Grok doesn't have this, it will be soon enough that they'll have like a certain map widget appear, right? This is just evolving so fast, right? This is how search will look like on these engines. Now, I need to be very careful with one thing, is that I don't think Google search will become obsolete, right? And if you want more of my thoughts behind that, go watch this video right here, because I cover why that is. People will still be searching on Google, right? It's just, they'll use these AI search engines in a different way, because you'd never search for this on Google, right? Because Google is not a conversational type site, right? These platforms, GPT, Perplexity, are much more conversational. So after this prompt, right, you could say, yeah, but I want a business that's black owned or women owned, or that's dog friendly, I don't know, right? It's much more conversational. On Google, you don't have that. So people will still be using Google, right? They'll just use Google and GPT or Perplexity that are different products in different ways. All this to say that I expect that all these AI search engines will have eventually a map solution like Perplexity, because they'll want to serve the local businesses, okay? They'll want to serve local searches, okay? Now, again, this isn't based on Google Maps, and ChatGPT's one will most likely be based on Bing's one, okay? And Grok, I have no idea, okay? Because they don't have any data on maps. Maybe they'll have some, Tesla data for Tesla Maps, Apple Maps, not too sure. All this to say that it's not just because you have your business on Google, so not just because you have your plumber analyst, not just because you have your business listing here, in your GMB listed here in Google My Business, right? Because this is a product from Google, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to show up here. Why? Because these guys get data in from OpenStreetMap, okay? let me give you an example. So I asked it, where does Mapbox get their data from? What's the best way I, as a local business owner, can give it data about my business? So basically, they're getting data from OSM, OpenStreetMap, okay? They get data in from Foursquare, Yelp, Yellow Pages, okay? Hotfrog, all of these local business directories. So it's only fair that when users are doing a local search, right, for a plumber, that these LLMs will skim through the most trusted source for local businesses in the world, which is of course Yelp, right? And they'll skim through this, right? They'll then find what's relevant for the prompt you used, which in this case was, give me a local plumber in Dallas, the cheapest one. If I search, for example, give me a number of a plumber that does this specific type of service, I don't know, drain clogging, I don't know, or drain cleaning, right? It will find, it would read through the business name, the reviews, what the review said, the services section, and find, okay, is this business providing this specific type of service, right, that the user that's searching on my product, Perplexity, wants me to give it info on. Hopefully this makes sense. So the way in which you show up here is just by, and in this case Perplexity, because you use Mapbox, is by putting your site listed in Yelp and making sure that you give it as much context as possible. Making sure you ask for reviews, making sure that people on the reviews say what the service was. You reply with info of what the service you did was. And I have this video right here, which goes over like a lot of local SEO stuff. It's like a 5-hour course. And this one right here, which just goes over, reviews, which goes over the whole thought process behind reviews. It's not just about getting reviews. It's about what they say and how you reply to them. Because the keywords you reply and the things you say on the reviews, all these will be read by these AI search engines, right? And all the info they'll give you right here, right? All this right here, this isn't here by mistake, right? This is here because they read through the info and found that this was the most relevant site for this. So, for example, let's say I have a business right here, my business, and I have 1,000 reviews, and all they say the same thing. This is the best rhinoplasty clinic for women in Dallas. I love my rhinoplasty surgery. I'm a woman and I loved it. I'm a woman and I love doing my rhinoplasty here. I love doing my rhinoplasties for all my women friends here, right? So these reviews are hyper relevant for service, rhinoplasty, for type women in Dallas. So the AI will know, okay, these guys are mega relevant for this. Let me just recommend this when someone searches for, I want to do a rhinoplasty in Dallas, okay? So it's all these little signals from the reviews, from the replies you put in the reviews, from the info on your site, of course, right? The info on your site needs to be relevant, right? This is like classic SEO, right? When you search for Dallas plumber, this site shows up because, I mean, this is relevant for SEO, right? And so the info on your site also needs to be relevant. The info on your socials also need to be relevant. So there isn't that much of a difference between how you do SEO for the classic search engines like Google and Bing and how you do SEO for AI-based LLM search engines, right? Because the principles of SEO, if you do proper SEO, right, a lot of the things you do here, like link building, having a proper brand, the socials, the info on your site, the classic SEO, all the things you do here will by default make you be optimized for showing up on these AI search engines, right? Because again, don't forget, these engines don't just pull data out of their ass, right? They get data from what's online, meaning your site, your local business listings on Yelp, your socials, right? All this stuff. Then of course they phrase in the data and they give more weight to different data based on who they're owned by. That's just the reality, okay? And yeah, that's basically it, right? That's how you go about ranking on here. Make sure to put yourself on Yelp. Make sure to put yourself on Foursquare. But if you're doing local SEO properly, you've already done this by default. I just want to give you the behind the scenes on how this would actually be done because I haven't seen anyone talking about this before. And I mean, it's super relevant, super important that we understand how these things are done. Now, if you want like a bit more in-depth training on this, go watch this video right here. It's my full LLM SEO course. So how we are ranking our own business on here, on GPT, on Grok, and Perplexity, and how we will keep on ranking it for multiple prompts, right? How we're doing it so you can do it too in a bit more in depth. So go watch this course. It'll be fun. Thanks so much for watching. And by the way, if you want my help, if you want me to work on your SEO, you can go to tryjournalist.com/call. And this is a service. This is me working on your SEO. And I guarantee a 25% increase in non-branded Google search traffic in 180 days, or I work for free until I do. And that's it. That's the offer. And I have a bunch of case studies on here of other people that have worked with us. And then you can book a call with me. This is just so I can see what your business is, what you sell, what your target audience is. So I can just understand what your niche is, right? But again, the guarantee is a 25% increase in non-brand Google traffic in 180 days, or I work for free until I do. So either I increase your traffic 25%, or I work for free until I do. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.